Hey guys, so what I'm going to go over in this video is going to review one of my favorite setups to trade. It is August 5th, 2015. It is the evening, and right now what you're looking at is a recording of my footage from today. If you look down here in the corner, you'll see that 9:40 a.m. is the time on this. So this was at the market open. And basically what's going on here is I'm looking at Netflix, and the stock opened with a really big gap to the upside and made a nice initial push. I missed the initial push, and what I like about it though is it made that initial push. So I'm looking to buy a dip off of that push. And so what you're going to see when I click play here to play this footage is the stock starts coming down off of this high. You can see that the high was 129.29 and now it's printing 127s. Sorry, I jumped to Priceline for a moment. I should get back to Netflix here in a second. Bad timing, I guess. I hate when I don't just focus on the one stock that I'm planning to trade, as I do end up trading Netflix. But hey, trying to keep tabs on different movers. Just going to let it play. All the while, though, while I'm looking at Google right now, I'm seeing Netflix show really good speed on the level 2, on the time and sales window, and I eventually come back to it. And the main thing is when you start coming down, and what I refer to as a washout off of the high of the day. So Netflix, I know there's momentum here because of what it did out of the gate. It went 126 to 129s, but now it's coming down hard off that high. You're coming on a $2 pullback right now, and I love these washouts that kind of take the stock towards a round level. So what I'm looking for on Netflix as it's coming down is I want it to keep coming straight down off the high, and I want to try and time a bottom for a short-term bounce trade. Again, I swapped to Google, which kind of annoys me. Should be keeping my focus on the stock that I'm planning to trade. Need to get better at that. So jump back to Netflix here. So now we're in the 126s. And, again, favorite setup is when a stock has a ton of momentum and starts pulling back off that high. And then it just becomes a matter of focusing in on level 2 and time and sales to try and gauge an entry point. So I get ready. I'm starting to watch the 125 strike calls. I want to be at the money or in the money. Just personal preference. I'm starting to get an order ready, and you can see the asks are still very aggressive. But in my head, I'm thinking, all right, we've pulled back almost 3 points now. It had momentum out of the gate. We're 13 minutes into the day. This is the first pullback of the day. Dip buyers are going to step in here. So again, it's just watching level 2, and I like that it's approaching around level. So I start to get an order ready. I just placed one on the 125 calls at $2.89. And I always try and place the bid below the current bid. So it was 310 by 340 here. I placed my bid at 289 because I'm trying to catch it as it prints some 125s. So now you're printing 125s. Right here, I want to point something out. I paused it for a second. You can see my bid is in at $2.89 on the 125 strike calls. And you've got, look at this ask right here, 47K on the ask at 126. So definite selling into this. But again, this is what I like. And it's just kind of psychological in addition to what I'm seeing on level 2. You look at this, and I think on average people would say, all right, well, why do you want to buy the stock when it's going down? Well, when a stock is coming in, the closer it gets to an entry point you like, the lower your risk is. It's counterintuitive. Everybody wants to buy something that's going up. They want to sell something that's going down. Well, if I can buy something as it's going down, now I'm closer to my stop loss. If I wait for it to for sure reverse and step in, now I'm farther away from my stop loss and maybe I have a little bit more certainty. But me personally, I tend to be more aggressive on trades like this that show up in the first 30 minutes of the day. And that brings me to another point. This washout off of the high, that's what I call it, a washout, is happening early in the day. First 15, 20 minutes of the day, I trade this. 1 or 2 hours later, I don't trade it because to me there's not going to be as much interest in Netflix at that time. But first 15 minutes of the day, everybody is watching. So timing is important on this. And what I want you to notice here is I'm willing to accept my bid. If it fills, I'm essentially just guessing that it's going to have support in the 125s. And then once I start to see some bid action flashing higher, meaning the asks come down but the bids start flashing back up, they kind of hold the 125.60 area, then I end up placing another bid to add to this position that I'm trying to take on the 125 call. So I'm going to click play again here and just commentate on some of this level 2 action that I'm seeing. So right here, you're washing out on best bid, and then I end up raising a bid to $3.05 when I saw the bidders popping up, back into these 80s, and we still are testing 26. Another thing I want to talk about. Paused it again. So what I did is you tested that low at 25.62, but then the bids pop back up. You see this stack in the 25.80s. We're approaching 125, but I'm not sure if we're going to get down there for sure. So I raised my bid from $2.89 to $3.05 to take a starter. I want to get 2 contracts on this. So then I cancel the 289 bid and I lower it to 279. Also, if you look over here, you can still see, remember that 47K ask that was at 126? Well, now it's down to 43,000 at 126. And it's still a big ask, but he hasn't lowered his ask. And that's significant to me because somebody with that size, clearly they want to get out. They want to sell, right? I mean, they're selling fucking 50,000 shares just about. So obviously they want to get out. But the fact he's not lowering his ask, when I see that, tells me that at least for now, he's confident he's going to be able to get filled at 126. Because think about it, the stock's up 3.9%, still up very much. Volume significantly above yesterday's volume pace. He could have easily just whacked this thing down to 125 and gotten all out if he wanted to. But the fact he's staying at 126 is a signal to me that, again, at least right here, right now, he's confident he'll be able to fill his sell at 126. Otherwise, he would start adjusting it. So again, I've taken a starter at $3.05. You can see that up here in my position and average price, 1 contract, $3.05. And again, just more level 2. So we try to wash out and make another new low. Here I am lowering my 289 bid to 279. Notice that ask, that 42K ask, now it's down to 33K. It takes it out. So I like that sign right there. I still leave my bid in, but I like that Netflix has showed me some aggression back above 126. It was able to take that big seller out, and I feel like I've got kind of a line to trade against versus 125. It showed me some buying. The bidders were aggressive. You still got ask pressure though, but again, I want to try and fill this. I feel like this is a great setup because we've come off of that high, and level 2 now is starting to hold the 125 area, which is a round level, and I love trading against round levels. Asks trying to build pressure below 126 again. It's going to go for a new low right here, but you're going to see the bids pop right back up towards 126. So here comes the new low a day test. I will fill this 279 bid in just a moment. Some stacking going on. Ask stacking in the 60s, testing lows. Make a new low right here. Now you make a new low, you should be able to flush $1. But what happens instead? The bids pop right back up, and it tries to get back near 126. So you made a new low, but there was no continuation off of that low. We're still just kind of churning. So to me, the bids are doing a good job maintaining here. And while there is pressure, they're absorbing the pressure. And that's a sign to me that buyers are stepping in. And as the stock showed an aggressive move to the upside, that's the real key to this thing, is the fact that psychologically it showed an aggressive move to the upside where people like me missed that move out of the gate. And now we're trying to determine a good entry point on the shares. And when you see the bids really defending this 25 area, I think that's kind of your tell that there's a good setup here. No guarantee that it's going to work, but you have a clear area to trade against. Right there, you try and pressure 25.50s again, but look at those bids pop back up. You can see I've got my position, 2 contracts at a 292 average position, average price right there. And this is just great action on the level 2. It's a good battle. You don't know who's going to win it yet, but I feel like I've gotten a good entry here. And now once we start coming back towards 26s, I'm starting to get some confidence again. Look at that bid stack above 26 right there on that push. I place an ask to sell one of 2 contracts at $3.45 into this. And it didn't take much to have good percentage profits here. I've got a 292 average, and just within 90 seconds or so, I'm able to sell at 345. I just filled one. You can see my position goes down to 1 contract. My closed P&L goes to 53 bucks. Nice 18% gain right away. I'm still holding the other one to see how much more is left here. I place an ask at 375, and now I've locked in half, and off of that low, I can now trade against the low we just came off of and trade against my break-even price. Notice the bidders are starting to defend 26, and you're going to see it try and get below 26 again right here, but the bidders pop it back up. See that right there? Below 26 by the bids. You try and come under pressure again, but then the bids get a nice lineup right back at that 126, 126.20s now, and it's pushing a little bit. Still churning 126s, but the key is that we defended 125, and now we've come above 126, and we're starting to defend 126. People look for higher lows on the charts. Well, higher lows start on level 2. You can see a higher low forming on level 2 before you can see it forming on the chart. Right here, I don't need to be looking at a chart to know a higher low is being formed. I can see it right now the way the bids are defending 126. I've got my ask placed at 375. That's an important metric of this. I really believe you got to have your orders in as soon as you fill your bid. That makes it easier to sell into the move on the way up. Here it comes, testing 27-ish. Notice the bids still upticking off those 26s, 26.50 bids. They get whacked out for a second, but they battle right back up. See that? They get whacked out down to 26.50, but then they're able to keep the pressure on and start stacking again. So everything's still looking constructive for the bounce play. I'm not trying to hit a home run. In at 292, trying to sell at 375, but that's a solid 30% gain. And now I'm out at 375 into that 127 push. You can see my open P&L has turned into a closed P&L of 136 bucks. Nothing serious, only traded 2 contracts, but those small gains can add up. So just to kind of recap and give you my bottom line on this, my favorite setup, one of my favorite setups, is when a stock has a ton of momentum out of the gate and then comes back super hard. Because again, psychologically, everybody wants to chase this move. I guarantee you people were chasing this move on Netflix the first 5 minutes of the day. It would have been nice if you caught it right out of the gate, but I'm not going to chase it. And then when you get this big dump, everybody gets scared and they're like, well, fuck. Well, hey, that represents a great time to buy, because if it keeps dumping, then you can just stop out with a smaller loss. Whereas if you're trying to chase it on the way up, you got to be worried about this dump. The risk is obviously that it doesn't make this type of dump, and I'm never allowed an entry point, but hey, it is what it is. That's just comes down to your personal trading strategy and your style. How do you like to trade? So watch for these momentum moves out of the gate that then come back off of the high very hard and very quickly. It's very important to me that Netflix came off of her high quickly. It dropped four to 5 points. Well, I guess $3.50 to $4. It dropped that amount in just a matter of 10 minutes. And to me, I'm going to bet that the momentum that was there at the open is going to step in and try and support it versus 125. So look out for that. You see it a lot, and a lot of people lose money on the chase and take their losses on the way down because they weren't disciplined and they get stuck buying on the way up. Your odds of success will be much better if you buy on the way down and sell on the way up. It's counterintuitive, but flip it around. You got to think, hey, the majority is buying on the way up, selling on the way down. You don't want to be in the majority. That's not what's going to give you an edge. You want to be in the minority. All right, so, and then the other thing, it just comes down to level 2. If it just washed out and just kept on going through 125s, I wouldn't have added that second contract. But once I saw the way it was battling and it showed that flash above 126s, I was confident that, I was getting a little line here, a line meaning a clear level I can trade against, and that allowed for a trade opportunity.